Greetings. We're discussing, it was a question, and the that was posed was, are black people descendants from Africa? That was the question. Are black people descendants from Africa? Now, I broke it down in many ways, but before I break it down, because we can go into that, but we're going to go back to what we was talking, which was like the Ted Raspberry. Because these points that people use to reference to a time when black people owned stuff, like, yeah, black people owned slaves. Like, it wasn't all, like, Moors wasn't even classified as black. You know, Moors wasn't classified, they owned plantations, farms, and slaves and stuff. They wasn't classified as black people. You know, it came a point when, you know, Moors became identified once the laws changed in order for all people of melanated color to be identified as black. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody wasn't white. It was a time when the Italians, the Jews, the Dutch, you know, the Arabs that came to America and been a minority. You know what I'm saying? The Irish. Yeah, because there's no such thing as white and black. That's just an American concept. Anybody can be white except black people. You see what I'm saying? So this concept in America plays that the book with white folk is a mental thing. You know, it's a mental thing for you to think that you white, you privileged, and you poor. So when you work at a job, you feel company, even though these people you're not benefiting on this no kind of way with the same people who, you know, who black is not benefiting from it. You understand what I'm saying? So poor is poor in that concept. You got class, which is classism is slaves and slave masters. Because it was white slaves, it was other color of people in America that was indentured servants. You see what I'm saying? It's just like in prison. Like, prison is another level of that slavery concept. But you got white people in prison too. You know, yeah, I've been in prison on anybody who breaking these laws that we put in place in order to control the masses. You see what I'm saying? It's about controlling the masses. We're not a minority. We're the majority. It's like in prison. You're not the minority in prison. You're the majority. There's more prisoners than guards. You can overtake it at any time. They only control you mentally. You know, it's more people than the government. We can definitely overtake them. It's David and Goliath when it comes to that. If all the people ain't with this government shit, you know what I'm saying? And we don't do this stuff, you're going to have to break down. Because you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to break down. You feel me? Because it's the people, it's the labor that's the motivating force. You can have as many tanks as you want to. When you say an order and there's a revolt, now keep in mind, when we're talking about history, this is normal. Only in this day and age are we mentally brainwashed to believe the mutiny is not normal. Yeah. You know, that we are to obey these laws and to be what it's going to be as if this is godly stuff. This is new era stuff. This is a new era thinking. Because all through history, people revolting against tyrants. You see what I'm saying? People not just letting, you know, I'm just saying that's the history of the world until now. Now we deep into the matrix of believing that we are not gods. We aren't the generated, operating destroy. We create the rules. You know what I'm saying? It's like for our children, we create the rules that determine who they is. You see what I'm saying? So if your son a bum, it's because of the environment that you created for. You see what I'm saying? So that's why you always got to be mindful about how people raise, period, when you come to mating and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm saying, you know, everybody not breeding on a scientific level. Everybody not scientists. We more, so we practice in science. And definitely in sex. Sex is a level of sacred sexuality. This is the ability to That's a Garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? That's the ability to procreate. That's what God do. That God creates Adam and Eve. Then he instructs them, you know what I'm saying, in the garden in order to rule over all civilization, right? In that concept. So, you know, now we kind of just raising slaves. You know, that's normal. And, you know, it's psychologically against the law for you to actually raise geniuses, for you to recreate yourself. You know, like people think you wrong. People think that you are wrong for trying to recreate and control a child's life and dictate who they become in the future. You know, that's not normal, but there was a time when that's normal. You know, that's how you got generational Rockefellers thinking like you cut off when you ain't doing this Hilton stuff. You see what I'm saying? The way we do it. There's a trust fund and everything. You know, people not even working. I'm not letting nobody else influence my heirs. You see what I'm saying? That's how they rock. So it ain't no like, no yeah. You can go mess with them and do what the world talking about, but they ain't even got it like we got it. You ain't gonna live like a queen, a princess in the world. You only gonna live like that in the kingdom that your parents create. So if your parents in projects, your kingdom in the project. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much money your mama got, she's not trying to put that together for you to be, you know what I'm saying, great. You know, that's not even a level of expectation. But religiously, that's our level of expectation. You see what I'm saying? It ain't no God in this. It ain't no Jesus without you creating. Really. Once you give the blueprint, yeah, because this is science. This is right. You know, and I don't know who I was talking about. We were talking about science. Like in more science, spirituality and science is the proof of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? If God is the ultimate scientist, you know, he created all of this, you saying. So anything that you find in science that you just discovering what he already do and how he did. You understand what I'm saying? That's like reverse engineering, right? You know, Chinese, that's what they do. You know, they masters of reverse engineering, right? So this the concept of reverse engineering. Anything that we buy, we break it down, we learn it and we recreate it. So that's buying one TV, breaking it down, and starting manufacturing TVs. Now you're the biggest TV manufacturer in the world. You understand what I'm saying? Buying one submarine, breaking this down, and start manufacturing submarines, start manufacturing missiles. It's this game that we play called Civilization. It's the same concept. You know, life is a science. And if you understand how this stuff works, it ain't going. It's all the same. It's all how you and belief systems is important. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you're definitely going to create what you set out to create. God. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you don't, it's somewhere you fucked up. You understand? It's like in the Bible when they talk about Adam and Eve. God created that. Now think about this concept when we think of God, the Almighty, in the form of He know everything. He created something that went against him, and He already knew that. Right? Now, you know, I'm Gnostic. I'm Gnostic in my beliefs because, you know, I'm studied. So there's other books in the Bible that wasn't canonized, and the canonization of the Bible is after, it's post, you know, this concept that we've been talking about Jesus, right? Meaning it's somebody else who did this. They wasn't even alive when Jesus was alive. Who said these are the ones that we're gonna say is official, right? So this concept, I just wanted to go back to the level of a Gnostic beliefs when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls and found the Gospel of Thomas and the Book of and all these concepts that, you know, we can put in in reference. It's like if we got a story, right? You can read any of my books, and every one of my books is a different level to the same book. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can read my book and think you know it all. You got the story, right? But I can tell you a whole nother story on that same story. Because of different perspectives, different belief systems. Because I'm saying, from my perspective, I may look like the hero and that person may look like the villain. In their story, because I'm saying you saying it from different point of view, you can understand why people did what they did, and you know how they was raised and what they believe in. And once you do that, you're gonna start loving them. You're gonna love the character. I make you fall in love with the character. Every one of them. There is no right and wrong. There is no villain. You know what I'm saying? Now, this concept came to me as an epiphany while I was in the hole. 4 years in the hole in UFC. And I had an epiphany. And it was crazy how I seen God. You know what I'm saying? And I just seen God as an author. Right? I seen God as an author. Because the author writes the story and then you live it. Like I'm saying, I wrote this story. This wasn't real. And now I'm living it. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of, you know, when I was in prison, I used to write and then lay down and just daydream. Like anything that I studied law, and then in my mind, I daydreamed about coming home and being that and implementing that, because I couldn't use nothing that I had learned. I'm in prison. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't use it physically. I stayed in I was a legal writer, and you know what I'm saying? I actually created a lifestyle in prison that was conducive to being a revolutionary. I was a revolutionary in prison. You know what I'm saying? You know, so really, it's harder to be a revolutionary out here. It's easier to revolutionize, you know, yourself and have these levels of aspiration. And I was really the because I was actually publishing books in prison. So you know what I'm saying? That's big, because this is a whole bunch of people who, you know, wrote books. But you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people aspire to even be on. And to come home, it's kind of like, to come home, I always been like a pretender. Like, if you ever seen this show called A Pretender, it's like back probably in the 90s. And there's a character called Jerry. And this guy, he was a genius. He could read a book, see anything, and he can do open heart surgery just by reading the book. He's anything, ain't no limits to, you know what I'm saying, the position he gonna stand up to and gonna ace that bitch. You know what I'm saying? You gonna believe. You feel me? So, right. So in prison, I never connected. I always was more of an observer, a learning student of the Most High. You know, I'm saying I learned the ins and out of the structure, because in the MDOC, that's like a museum. The MDOC is a museum of Black empowerment, because they locked up all the revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I just met a brother, just got out here, the Alexander brother. This brother is a revolutionary. You know, the Alexander, he old. He just got out. You know him, because he a legend. The brother is a genius. But now that they let him out, he old. The dude is that's when they let you out. The people like that's in prison, you know what I'm saying? This really genius level, they gonna break you off. By the time you come home, you gonna be old. Nobody listening to you. You ain't got money. The revolution is out of it. And the revolutionaries out here is the hustlers, the bitters. I'm saying, the people who got the resources, but they not gonna help. They not helping. These are people who gonna keep on marching, complaining about somebody else, but they got all the resources to help somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And okay, but keep this in mind. I just say that to say there was a time when our people weren't like this. No, definitely, indeed not. You know what I'm saying? It was a time when your grandfather had 3 different families on 4 different blocks. You know what I'm saying? Had businesses, and you know, I'm just saying, it was normal. It was normal for a man to have kids. He getting money. Ain't nobody bums. I'm saying that was this ain't normal. I'm saying, do you remember? I don't know. Yeah, right. All the people that I knew that was grown when I was young was the people who put me on. I'm saying they had jobs. We come from the South Side, though. So yeah, this society, it really wasn't no book. Everybody was working, hustling. You know what I'm saying? Owning businesses, karate dojos, and record labels. I grew up with people with record labels and all this kind of stuff as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a business. Who didn't have a business though? If you can cook, they got the candy house. They got the card games. They got lot numbers. Ain't no wrong. Now it's like everything wrong. Like hustling is wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Just lie, right?
Yeah. Hustling is wrong now. You feel me? You know, being an entrepreneur was normal. It wasn't no certain. Now people say everybody ain't meant to be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? That's the lazy level. Look, if you got a family, you're an entrepreneur. Right. But you're not even looking at your family like that. You give all control over to the system. Now,